I be your digital dealer. Hit me in my DMs. Let me send your pack in the mail. Hope that pack don't tell. Yeah, I'm gonna sell till I go to jail. I be your digital dealer. Yeah, you hit me in my DMs. I will put that pack in the mail. Hope that pack don't tell. Watch me sell till I go to jail. Up in the way. Yeah, I put that pack in the mail. DEA be watching. I be going in and doing my thing. I don't care. You watch me sell. Pack be leaking. Yeah, it's talking loud. Talking be loud. What you talking about? Yeah, you really be telling. But I gonna still make this money. Send my cash to that cash app. Leave that trail. For 12. I be your digital dealer. Yeah.
What's going on, everybody?
Going back.
We got a little echo, but it's all good.
Do we really?
Well, only when I get really loud, but we got some other stuff to talk about that's really loud today, if you know what I mean.
Only if you get really loud. You telling me that just means I'm going to echo for life.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So the question of the day is, does anybody know the exact footage of a mile? Somebody can, if we get a comment here for any folks that's joining us today. We're on the Mile High Connection today on 420 edition of Square Groupers, baby. We back in the mix, Bob. How you feeling today?
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you?
Yeah, where's my man Joe at?
I'm feeling absolutely good today, man. Let me tell you, especially after that show, man. I know we're going to get into it, man. I'm just feeling good overall, man. It's not just the effects of the cannabis, man. That, you know, after being here for a little bit and being where you were yesterday, just the overall vibe of Denver is just chill, man. It's mostly relaxed. Enjoy what you want to enjoy, man. And I'm part of all that, so I'm loving it, man. How about yourself?
It's nothing better than creating history and great memories and experiences. You know what I mean? You know, for those of y'all that are joining us today, you know, most of the locals and the regulars that hang out with us here today, like our girl Sarah's checking in right there, says, hey, that's my people. You know what I mean? Mike Rock checking in, supporters, gang right there checking in. A lot of folks who may just be tuning in today don't know me and Bob go back to 2016. We've had a digital relationship for 6 years, and this is the first time we've met in person.
That's craziness, man. That's crazy. And it was funny. Excuse me. I don't know why I have this cough today. It's funny because you think, you know, when you catch up with somebody you've never met in person, there's going to be this awkward weirdness even at first or at one point in the middle of a conversation. But I swear to God, man, it's like BG's just been living down the street from me for the last 10 fucking years. He came up, dap, all good. What's up? Welcome to my home. And boom, it's like he had been coming over for dinner with the family for the last 10 years, man. So that's a tribute to the kind of person you are, and I guess the kind of person I am, where we're able to at least get along in the virtual world and the real world, because that's just the way it is, man. We got a lot in common, man.
You know, I'm glad you brought that up, because I just want to share this before we kick it off on 420 Day. So happy 420 Day to everybody. You know, in case you caught us last night, we were at this big concert. That's what Bob was alluding to. We're going to give y'all some feedback. We got photos to share with you. We're going to light something up. We're going to roll something up. So if you got it, pour it up, baby. We're on Square Groupers. We got a little coffee and blunts going with BG on the side action. You know what I mean? But we did just this epic concert last night. But going back, our relationship, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's what it was like. I just pulled up. We said, what's up, man? Walked in the backyard. We lit something up. Like, you know, I didn't start going live and getting all weird and doing kind of things. And you didn't be like, oh, and start acting kind of weird. It's kind of like, you know, we kind of knew each other. You know what I mean? So yeah. I think I attribute that to you as well. And your character is good to finally have met and crossed paths. And what an epic time for us to do it. Bro, we are making history on so many levels here today. Folks don't even understand this.
Yeah, not only what happened yesterday, but today even more so, it feels like, man. The folks we ran into today at Frost Exotic, just the personalities and the people that run the place. It was just the last 48 hours so far, man, or 24 hours plus have been amazing, man. And again, it's a testament to sort of what happens, man, when your city legalizes cannabis, man. I mean, this is something people are doing already, and to give them the ability to congregate in areas and enjoy cannabis in a healthy, responsible way. It's really what makes me fall in love with Denver. And even more so the fact that you get to be right now sitting in my living room. Sitting in my living room doing the other side of this podcast is pretty badass, man. So I'm loving it.
Yeah, we even had to figure that out. Like, how are we going to do the show? Like, we were just trying to kind of been on the go and doing this stuff. So for all of our creators that follow us, you've been getting creative here lately. You kind of understand creator challenges 101 there. But we're glad to have everybody here today. What a monumental moment on 420. I thought I would never celebrate 420 in such a way. But I just want to put this out there for all the concert goers that are out there. Like, I feel your pain. Like, during COVID, they didn't have concerts because I know my buddy, you know what I mean, and my mentor next door here, Bob, takes concerts very serious. So he was totally in the navigator seat. He got us in and out of there like swimwear, baby. You know what I mean? We was in and out of there. You know what I mean? It was a great experience overall, and I just want to thank you. But I have a great respect for concert goers because, man, y'all take that stuff serious.
Look, man, you can go to a concert and just go to a concert, show up and go with the flow, which is cool. But if you're going to go to a lot of them, and I average roughly 5 a year, if you're going to do that, you've got to find a way to intelligently get in and out of there, or not really find a way. After a while of going, you just figure out, like, your body's going to tell you, I don't feel like doing that walk anymore. How about we find an alternative way to do that? Obviously, I went live to show everybody what that walk is. And I don't even know if that video could possibly do anything justice unless you were standing on a treadmill at least a 40-degree incline and walking as fast as you possibly can. That's when you feel the burn. But man, the concert situation out here is amazing. We have 3 venues that are huge that all different kinds of acts can go to. And yeah, I found ways to get in and out of all of them extremely quick.
Yeah, if you go over to my Instagram there and you follow, you can see there's some of the Instagram footage. You can check out my stories. I got a public profile, but follow us. Yeah, if you go over to my Instagram there and you follow, you can, you know, I got a little back reverb there, but go over to my Instagram and check out my story mode there. You can travel, go through this whole event of us going up where Bob is talking about there. Walking up to Red Rocks Amphitheatre, which by far is what I've learned, one of the 7 wonders of the world when it comes to places to go watch concerts.
Hey, I was watching a recent interview. Jack Black was interviewing Bob Odenkirk. So it's a very recent interview. You can find the YouTube video so I'm not bulltishing. And Jack Black, in the middle of a conversation, says, we opened up for Ween a long time ago at a place called Red Rocks. And he's like, have you ever been to this place? He's like, it is by far my favorite outdoor venue to play in the United States. And Jack Black with Tenacious D, that's a glaring tribute to that venue. But ask anybody who plays there, and they'll tell you it's an amazing thing to experience as an artist. And even more so as a fan out there, man. As you saw yesterday, it was a blow you away kind of situation, and it's always like that. I've never seen a show there that I was like, I walked out of there because there's no way you can leave there in a par mood. You're feeling good when you leave Red Rocks. You're tired when you first get there.
Let's take a look at it. Here's some photos that you shared with us. Here's us at the beginning as we had to get in line because Bob had to find out this secret path for us to get to where our seats were, so that way everything was strategic. That's what I can really appreciate that about him.
Oh yeah, man. We only had about, I think I counted about 15 or 20 people in front of us. So we were, let's go ahead and say 27, 28, and 29 in the venue.
Yep, that was us getting ready to walk up. We had to get in line about an hour before. And then here we are inside there with Too Short playing in the background above Bob's head, if you can see it there.
Life is.
But you can see how great a seats we had at that venue. And like I said, if you go to my story mode and you can check it out, you can grab some more perspective because I've got some screenshots of going back to see how deep everything is. But here's some shots of some of the big artists there. I know this was a big favorite of Bob's. Man, Cypress Hill, man.
Be Real was on point, man. We were in second row, basically front row, because the first row was basically reserved for handy capable people who were in mobility issues. Most of them were in chairs, weren't moving around a lot, so we didn't have people standing up in front of us for the most part. But we were also closer to the front security, which did not care that you smoked cannabis at Red Rocks, because they normally don't.
And we got Eric chiming in with us. Eric was actually pictured there with us, so appreciate Eric. He's upstairs watching and supporting, but he went along for the ride too. It was his first time at Red Rocks, and it was just such an epic event. Like, what a way to go set the bar high for, I didn't even really, I was thinking it was going to be, I'm just going to be the truth. When he told me he had the tickets and they say E40 and 2 short, I'm just thinking it's probably going to be like some little, little hole in the wall, little janky, little prototype. Little janky promoter type concert, right? But no, this is like the real deal. And like, they don't mess around with time. Everybody's on time. They get the show over with. Like, even the seating folks, like, great. I'm going to be putting together a reel, so to speak. But man, Eric joined us. Eric had a great time too. He's out from Florida, one of Bob's longtime friends from his childhood.
Oh yeah. AB's in the building. I just sent you the link. For any of you folks out there who have not gone and subscribed to my YouTube channel, go to it now. We're going to put the link up here, because at that link right now, you will be able to see at least 3 videos of our second row experience with Cypress Hill, and at least 1 song of Ice Cube. And those are some of the better videos that were shot that last night. So go ahead and check those out. It's gonna be a treat for you, man. We were front row center, man, and I knew we would. When I saw those tickets available, I was like, we've all got to jump on it. We jumped on it. It's a beautiful thing, man.
This is how good it got. Remember, so we got in there, we got seated, and we were like, man, these are great seats. We went and got popcorn, got some drinks, like we getting ready, pre-gaming and all of that. And then we realized, this guy's been dancing in front of us the whole time, like a row down. And he turns around and he says, hey man, is that row 2? And we're like, actually, no, it's row 3. And we should have been in row 2. So we got to move down thanks to him just asking.
Oh, my God.
Because we were in the wrong seat. So it got even better and we got closer. So run over to my stories and check it out. I'm definitely going to put a compilation together for my supporters. We're live on 3 different platforms today. So thank you for tuning in, especially on YouTube. I see you over there, Sarah, tuning in on YouTube. I shared the YouTube link there for Bob's channel. Go over there and check it out. We had great seats, man. Go over there, run his views up, man. You know what I mean? Bob's really serious about his videos, so go take a look at that. And he's definitely serious about his concerts. Perfect navigator, like Bob, like he's got a job in the industry of like setting up people on how to go to concerts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it could be the Van Wilder of concerts, man. That could be the way to go, man. I think you just found something else out. Delete that. I have to talk about that in the background. But yeah, there's videos of not only that show that we went to yesterday, a bunch of recent stuff. I'm getting a lot of traction because of some of these music videos. Matter of fact, I'm at 500 subscribers right now, man. Thank you so much to all of you out there who are currently subscribed to my Cultivating with the Cannabis Cowboy channel on YouTube. We got to 500 because of music, and I don't have any problem with that, by the way. Some people don't like my face and my voice, but they like the way I look at concerts, and that's what I put up a lot of too. So yeah, man, yesterday was epic, dude. It was epic, man.
Yeah, just great footage. Like, I got some great video shots. I can't wait to put together my Red Rocks tribute video, especially of, if you plan to attend a Red Rock video or something like that. We're going to put that together so folks can check it out. Like, I had no idea, and then this became this experience and this event. And on top of it, you know what I mean? It was just a great experience overall for a concert. And it was such a diverse crowd out there. There was no issues. I mean, folks was lighting up. You could see clearly in the pictures there. It was pre-420. It was 420 Eve on the rocks. And here we are on 420 today, baby, on Square Groupers. Man, we breaking history, baby. We was at your boys Frost Exotic today.
Yeah, and before we get into that, though, there's something that as a cannabis enthusiast, or even as someone who's tried it and liked it, there's really nothing quite like standing like basically front row at a cannabis themed concert, at watching Cypress Hill, and all of a sudden just seeing hundreds or let's say dozens at the time, dozens of joints and cones being thrown at Be Real of Cypress Hill. There were people behind me with Ziploc bags filled with them, throwing them. And, the problem is, you can't trust anybody in the world. So while he did pick a lot of that shit up, he didn't light the ones that he found on the floor up. He just had a big, 8-inch one that he lit up, and that lasted about 4 songs. But it was really, really an experience, man, to just see a sea of cannabis joints being thrown at Cypress Hill.
Smokier and smokier and smokier as the show went on. Like, I was looking for Smokey the Bear and I couldn't find him. But hello, Peter, how we doing? Appreciate all the supporters tuning in with us today. Like I said, I'm going to chop that video up. I've already posted some exclusive content in there. So thank you on YouTube today for watching. Thank you on Built Different group page, all the Green Badge supporters. This content would not be possible without y'all. You know, Bob and I are also 2 creators. Bob has a Cannabis Cowboy, Cultivating with the Cannabis Cowboy Patreon here. He's got a grow here. You follow him for the regulars that are here. So if you're just new, tuning in for 420, you know, there's different folks tuning in for different reasons here today. And we got our other Green Badge supporter today. Let's kind of talk about the benefits of, as we celebrate 420. Tanya says she doesn't partake in it, but she's here to soak in the content and learn some more. And I really like that because it's about the education part for a lot of folks.
No, that's all about the education part. From here on out, for the rest of people's lives, they need to understand that cannabis and education need to be part and parcel with each other. You can't make informed decisions if you don't have information. So seek that out as much as possible. And today at Frost Exotic, we were able to talk to a couple of great people from the industry, folks from Med Farm, from Wild Gummies, you know, and my brother who was, you know, taking us around the tour, man. It was a beautiful thing, man, on 420 to have these folks come out, and they weren't pushing their stuff. They were merely, as you said, informing you of all of the things that they had going on with their products. And it was funny because I was talking to Eric Bean. He's like, well, the guy you were talking to wasn't doing a great job of selling you anything. And I go, I think you missed that point. That's really the reason that they're there, is so that you can make the decision whether you want to buy it based on the information they gave you. And Anthony from Wild, I hope his name is Anthony, man. Damn, it sucks if it's not. My apologies. The great representative of Wild Gummies that was there today was throwing massive amounts of information. I'll have that content on my YouTube channel as well as the other vendors that we spoke to and the tour. We're going to have that available on mine and on BG's. We'll probably share the same video, I think, or maybe different versions. I don't know. We might make something special, but you're going to get the entire.
Keep it real. Bob is the video expert, so I wanted him to take all the video and chop it up and do all the work, so that way I could promote it. And that's what we call teamwork, baby. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, one thing that was pretty amazing, we all got to meet a celebrity today as well. As a matter of fact, he was the first person we were introduced to when we walked into Frost Exotic Cannabis on Federal and Alameda out here in Denver, Colorado. We were able to bump into Mr. Cerrone, who played young Henry from Goodfellas. So the young kid who was in Goodfellas, who played Henry Hill, the actor, was there, hung out, had a conversation with us, talked to us about his favorite kind of cannabis, indica. Just, giving us information of his preferences, his wife preferences, the reason why he goes to Frost Exotic, because he, as a matter of fact, exclusively goes to Frost Exotic. So, it was a pretty cool day, man. We got to rub elbows with Chris, and just kind of chill out with him and talk to him. He was just a regular dude. It was really, really awesome, man. So, that was an experience in itself. And thank you so much to my brother Bill for making all of this possible, man. And the folks at Frost Exotic Cannabis for basically letting us take over a third of their store and walk around and get a tour and stuff like that. A lot of places won't let you do that, man. And you gave us the sort of the red carpet. We want to just say thanks so much to Bill and the rest of the staff that were just nothing but accommodating to us today. So shout out to Frost Exotic Cannabis on Federal and Alameda.
And that's a great segue, man, because not only did we get to visit Frost, we get to actually taste Frost, if you know what I mean. And some folks like to keep it frosty, if you know what I mean. And so shout out to Bill, and shout out to, this Frost Exotic brand here is Colorado Cream Soda. Like, we was on this earlier. I'm going to have some of this secret footage there for my supporters. We're going to be able to chop it up, but I'm going to roll the remainder that we have up here today. So this goes out to Frost, as you can see right below me there. That is their logo. That is their dispensary here. And shout out to Bill for accommodating us, because what we did essentially today was we made history. Now you see a lot of, I want everybody to understand, everybody knows who the Kardashians are, right? Everybody knows who the Kardashians are. And everybody knows the Kardashians get paid on social media. Why? Because they're what we call those major colossal influencers. Well, the cannabis industry is going to be coming along the same thing. Here comes Bob and BG, and Frost trying to knock some doors down. So for those folks that happen to be in the cannabis industry, we know there's a fine line. It's not about advertising price and trying to generate. It's about brand building, storytelling, and developing an audience on your social media platforms to help increase and convert those fans and followers into business. And that's essentially what we were there to do today, is not only bring some of that content to our supporters, but it's historical. We did it on 420.
Yeah, man. That's a beautiful thing, man. The Mile High connection indeed. And having you there, having Eric be there, man, was a great thing to share, man. Eric's been here. He's been out here. Matter of fact, the last time he was here, he did go to Red Rocks with me. He just didn't go there for a concert. We went there. At most of the times throughout the year, you can visit Red Rocks Amphitheatre and take a walk up and down the stairs. Visit their the gift shop that has a couple of walls dedicated to every single act that has ever played Red Rocks up into a specific point. But they keep updating it. So you can check it out there, even if you're not going to a concert. But he did say the last thing he said before he left a couple of years ago was, when I come back here, we're going to a concert at Red Rocks. So we made that all happen, and it was a great time, man. It was a great time, and I knew it was just going to keep getting better, knowing that we'd be able to visit the folks at Frost and kind of just chill out with those folks. And they really did everything they could, man. They hooked us up with some Santiago burritos.
Oh man. Hey,
yeah, man. If you can't have Santiago's, whew.
Hold that point before we get into the food. We're going to go back. We got two supporters here. Like we said, Tanya said she's not a partaker. She's here to soak in the content. She's a Green Badge supporter here at Build Different Group. Love Tanya down in Arkansas. We see you down there, Cowboy Cousin. But here's Sarah, the prototype. Back at Tanya says, it changed my life. Couldn't walk 6 years ago while docs were pumping me full of pills. So clearly there's some advantages to 420 use, and from a veteran's perspective, you guys know that's followed our story here. Bob actually helped me get my medical cannabis card. I suffer, from PTSD and major depressive disorder. And that helps me to be able to sleep and deal with that in terms of, not pumping pills into your body. I choose plants over pills, so shout out to the veterans out there. So if you're watching in a non-legal state, you definitely want to tune in with us here. We're about informing and educating, not so much celebrating. And hey, look at us, because we understand there's still folks getting locked up in certain states behind cannabis as we celebrate cannabis on 420 Day here in Colorado.
Yeah, without getting on the soapbox either, it's one of those things where you don't want to be part of a system that takes your debilitating issue and gives you debilitating medication. The one thing that a lot of these folks out there fear is information and intelligent decisions on our part. And while we might not have the greatest healthcare system, at the very least, we have a lot of information to make some choices. Sometimes we're forced to take choices we don't want to make. But at the same time, we're blessed enough to be a part of a time right now where people are starting to get us more forward into everybody knowing that there's an alternative to taking specific pills, and using cannabis in an intelligent medicinal way is fitting for a lot of people.
Just to sum it up, last time I checked, ain't nobody dying from cannabis, but it's folks dying every day, including veterans from opioid abuse. And there's companies paying, out money because of that as a result. But shout out to Mike Rock, our big gang and Green Badge supporter here, been here over a year supporting the content. Folks, he shared with us, he says it helps with COVID too. He's had COVID. He's been diagnosed with that. So prayers up for Mike over there as you're dealing with it. He says he's using it to help ease COVID too right now.
Who is it that, man, we had a couple of friends here that was supposed to be at that show yesterday. I don't know if anybody of them chiming in right now, but oh man, I'm sorry. I'm still tripping about the show, man. And I feel bad for Cube only in the way that I knew that Ice Cube was the headliner, but I walked into that show knowing in my mind that Cypress Hill was going to be the headliner, even though they opened up for Cube. And in my mind, I still feel like they blew everybody else off the stage, man. That was
I'm not even a concert head. Like Bob asked me the question before we walked in, what song are you looking most forward to? And I'm like, I don't even know. I don't go to concerts. Hell, I don't know what they were going to play. But the artist did a great job of going through the catalogs from early on until current. Of course, E40 and Too Short and Ice Cube and I think Snoop Dogg have became this West Mount Westmore group. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So they're parlaying some of that too as well. But I'll tell you, so I'm not a big Cypress Hill fan. I love their main hits that made the movies, like Insane in the Membrane, like those, the original ones. I'm not a diehard Cypress Hill fan, but they put on a show. Like Be Real and oh boy, man, you know what I mean? They're the real deal. Like that was the best part of the show to me. Being right there was getting able to see that up front and close. Showman, you know what I mean? Over 30 years in the game.
Yeah, man. And Eric B was there with me as well as a couple of other friends for their first and second ever tour in Miami, Florida, man. We had gone to see them in 92, 93 for some of their very first tours. And it was amazing. It's amazing to see their evolution going from which they're not much different than they were back then, but they added Eric Bobo on percussion, which I caught his drumstick, by the way. Another amazing way to close out an amazing set. I caught Eric Bobo's drumstick. What the hell, man? With the help of Eric B, by the way, had to kick it my way a little bit. But yeah, man, it's great to see their evolution. Cube came out and did what I know Cube was going to do. And let me tell you right now, just my opinion, man, I've seen him 5 times now, I think, or 4 times. And I still think Cypress is better, man. The stuff he plays live, I'm not a big fan of. But what a great time, and it was amazing. Next time you come back and you go to a show, you have to kind of walk up to about halfway so that you can see the stage and the Denver skyline behind it. We didn't get to do that because we had second row. So that sounds like a big problem to have. You know what I mean?
Who was the now let's get back on the food trip here because I got some photos of the lunch that we got today. Let's do some shout outs. Shout out to Bill. Bill had us some eats there this morning when we showed up, and they were some burritos, and they were from where?
Santiago's. Yeah, Santiago's is a local burrito joint. It's
pun intended.
They get a big fat burrito doobie, packed with their Santiago's green chili, which is just off the chain. It's so good. They've got a little spot in the local supermarket in the freezer section where you can pull them out because it keeps it fresher when you freeze them. You bring them home thawed out. But yeah, man, Santiago's some good shit, man.
Hey, man, I ain't gonna lie. That shit was bomb.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I hurried up and ate that. He was like, you go eat over there. He took you upstairs to go do something. By the time you came back, I had already woofed it down. But that was what we had for breakfast. But more importantly, because I was asking Bob while we were here, I was like, man, what's something y'all got here in Denver? Like when I like to go boots on ground and go places, I like to find spots that, if a tourist were to come or somebody like another Cowboy fan of mine, follower here, somebody wanted to visit the city. Hey, go see that place. But we had some lunch here today and there's the empanadas. And, Bob can tell you more about what empanadas here, but I can show you better than I can tell you.
Boy, we love some Maria empanada out here. He was I know they were spotlighted on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives or whatever that one's called, Guy Fieri.
Yeah, Guy Fieri.
But I had known about this place a while ago simply because it's about 2 blocks down from my home dispensary that I go to, Good Chemistry. So every time I had to make the turn and head the other way and stop at the dispensary, I would eventually have to pass Maria Empanada, and I would always text my wife, hey, what empanadas do you want? And it just became a thing. We grew up in Miami. Empanadas were everywhere. It's sort of an Argentinian thing, but there's also Jamaican patties we grew up with, which are sort of similar. They're just cooked a little bit more, not really glazed, and they're filled with spicier meats and stuff. But empanadas are basically just a pocket of baked bread with whatever the hell you want in the middle of it. So you go in there's about 15 or 20 of those in there. So we got some with beef in it. I think I got some with ham and cheese, but they have some breakfast style ones too. Whatever the heck you can pack in there it's good. It don't matter. And they make everything really
like
good.
Argentinian flavor, man. It was on point. Put a little Louisiana hot sauce on it. Not Tabasco, the big bottle, the red bottle. All my hot sauce folks out there know the Louisiana hot sauce. A little bit of that on there. I'm telling you, them things was good, man. So shout out to Maria's Empanadas. Woo! Fire.
Beautiful stuff. It is good stuff, man. It hit the spot, man. I'm trying not to carbo load, man, but it's hot. It's real tough to pass that up, man.
Yep, that's one thing I like to do. Boots on ground, man. Y'all heard me say that before. When I get out to these spots like this, being able to get out here to meet up with Bob for the first time. We've been digitally, in a relationship, this friendship for over almost 6 years. First time we met up, went to a big concert. Here we are celebrating on 420 Day. Now we're creating in basically 2 rooms across from each other, You know what I mean? This journey has been a beautiful one as we talk about, you know, 420, its benefits, you know, and tapping into, you know, this budding industry, so to speak. You know what I mean? Folks that don't follow, you know, who we follow. Y'all have heard me say this before. Let me pull this up, Bob, as I get a segue up. MarijuanaMoment.net. I'll pull that up, Bob. You get while I'm getting this up. If you wanted to touch on how we keep folks informed here.
Listen, we're doing our best to make sure everybody knows the 360 degrees of cannabis, man. I mean, with the reason why we're together right now is because we went to a 419 or 420 Eve concert yesterday. You know, we spent the day with some industry professionals, not trying to boost anybody's sales or anything like that, but to get information. You know, this is stuff that nobody out there on the internet I'm seeing. I don't see anybody on YouTube doing what we're doing. And we're not doing it to break rules or to make rules. We're doing it because this is what we love to do. And I'll tell you what, man, we're lucky to be able to have the resources that we have. And again, shout out to Frost Exotic Cannabis for letting us just basically take over, man. They had a table and chairs ready for us. It was beautiful. But information, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, a big part of that was, you guys have heard me say this time in, time out. I've been a patron of MarijuanaMoment.net for over 3 years now. I pay $25 a month to support their content over there. There's a guy that sends out an email every morning at 3:30, lets me know all the bills, what's shaking, baking, you know, who's saying what on the Twitter fingers, you know, in terms of legislators, keeps you abreast of the industry, like the Safe Banking Act that they're trying to get passed. Because if you don't know, dispensaries are just sitting boxes of cash waiting to be robbed. There's already been deaths in cannabis, you know, dispensaries in Washington State here recently. You know, where I'm from up there in Seattle, you know, between the Big Green Rush, Washington State and Colorado, if you follow along with the history, first 2 states to legalize since 2012. But poor kid and his, you know, went in and got robbed and shot him dead on the job. You know, so there's a lot of things out there that are affecting this industry, but I like to stay in tune with that over at MarijuanaMoment.net. They're over there staying, working hard, and that's who we stay tapped into here to help bring some information to those folks that follow us here.
Good shit, man. I'm getting a lot of alerts now, man. A lot of people asking how to see that footage. Again, go to my page and go ahead and check it out. That's good stuff.
Here, you want me to share that link in there again?
Yes.
He said that, a resounding yes. There we go. This is the link to Bob's YouTube channel. So go over there and check it out. You got footage. We had great seats there at the Red Rocks, the 7th wonder, one of the 7 wonders of the world. Even Ice Cube got up on stage and said Red Rocks is one of his favorite places to perform at.
Yeah, man, you go there as if you're able to turn around, and we actually saw that because we were on the front row, and then not really much further than the front row was the stage. So as a performer, you're looking up and looking out, and which was another wonderful thing they did is they always light the 2 giant rocks that they carved the amphitheater into, and it was all lit up green, man. It was nice.
Yeah, shout out to Ricky Williams. I picked this magazine up. This is Cannabis Now. This was at the magazine store in SeaTac Airport. You guys remember that Ricky Williams, the guy at the University of Texas, big running back, you know what I mean? That guy, you know, who everybody hated on for smoking weed on his holistic journey. And now the guy is a big player in the industry. 420 week, baby. I mean, if that ain't proof enough, you got magazines now in the airports. I mean, come on, folks. You know what I mean? If you're just checking this out, you know what I mean? Something that you might want to get a little educated on. That's the biggest piece. And that's what we try to do here is inform and educate. We're during the off season here, you know, with football. We're both Cowboy fans. All 3 of us, Eric too. I know we haven't talked much about Eric, but shout out Eric watching. You know, Eric's been hanging out with us. Eric was very valuable today in shooting some video for us, you know, getting us both in the picture as well. So, you know, teamwork makes the dream work. And that's what we're trying to do here. So spread the news. I mean, there's 37 states legalized now. You know what I mean? It's an industry that once it's federally legalized and it's the Safe Banking Act, it's going to be this full-on onslaught. It's going to be totally saturated. But, you know, well, like they say, boats in the water early. When the tide comes in, they all rise. You know what I mean? So you got to get your boat in the water, essentially. That's what we're trying to say here as we inform, educate folks on different levels.
What'd you think of that strain my brother picked out?
Oh, I'm about to fire it up right now. That you talking about that cream soda?
That cream soda. I think it's Colorado cream soda.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Uh-oh. Did it fall into the cracks on my couch? The cushions are huge, man.
Oh, there it is. Yep. But yeah, shout out to Bill for that orange cream soda. Or what was it? Now, let me get it right. Colorado cream soda.
Colorado cream soda. Yeah.
Great fire. But you got it. Roll it up. You got it. Pull it up. It's a little bit of coffee and blunts with BG here too as well, as we're on 420. I mean, if you got it, you got to light it up, baby. So all my veterans that are out there that are following, if you're in a non-legal state and you think, uh-oh, is my lighter over there? Did you steal my lighter? See, here we go.
I always keep.
I'll go get a lighter from my counterpart.
Oh, really? That's what this guy's gonna do? The
benefits of in the next room.
For real. Sorry, I'm on setlist.fm where I'm a member and had somebody update my my set list.
Damn. Mike Rock chiming in there from the Bay Area saying another shooting at the Lacey shop here. Must be talking about the dispensary, or I'm not sure where he's talking about, but yeah, I mean, it's crazy. We were talking about that earlier in the car here today, and I'll just quite out frank share what we were talking about, folks that see things on the internet and then they go out there and, they replicate it. That's kind of what we're talking about here today with Frost Exotic. Who have you seen in terms of an influencer on a local level? Like Bob and I go into a dispensary, give you some live video, get to interview with some vendors, get a walkthrough, and also essentially get some product to taste.
Yeah, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. And I'm glad that we're the ones that are able to do it, to tell you the truth, because I like to think I know what I'm talking about. And I damn sure know the folks that I was talking to today know what they were talking about. Again, we'll have the footage of that up here pretty soon. But man, it's we still have to make changes, man, and no matter what, when you've got an industry that's making money, people are going to take advantage of that in some way. Unfortunately, laws that are in place are making it easy for some people to take advantage of those things. But I think we're still moving in the right direction. And getting some of those, things taken care of, the safety of the staffs and things like that.
Well, unfortunately, I mean, before they pass that Safe Banking Act, there's going to be more robberies. There's going to be more folks probably affected along the way. We know that's how things get done in this country. A big part of that is the state of Texas. Y'all heard me say that here before on Square Groupers before. This is not Bob and I's first rodeo. If you're just tuning in for the first time today, definitely leave a comment. Let us know where you're watching from. We've been streaming Square Groupers since the earlier part of last year. Then we got up to 20 or 30 some episodes, and here we are back circling. Bob had to get situated. He got moved into his house here. We had to get out of the pandemic, and now we're here, kicking the show back up. And clearly you can see he's kicked his content up over there on YouTube. So make sure I put the link there. Y'all go over there and check it out. But man, I'm glad for us to be able to get this back up and going in the middle of the week on Hump Day, baby.
It's beautiful, man. And I'll tell you what, I think I've just, I've got about 3 more subs too, since mentioning that. So any of you folks who went out there who are watching this and subbed up, thank you very much for that. I got a lot of stuff on there for you to look at. So more of my current grow is going to be up as well too. So not only did, EB and BG get to look at the house, I took them over to was as well, and they were able to look at that. So I'm not sure that's something you might have seen a lot in your life, but his grow is right over here in the same room I am, just right around the corner. So folks that are supporters of Bob, patrons of Bob, let me get your Patreon link. So folks that are tuning in today, especially if you're, one of the benefits of why I got my medical card was not only to get a discount, but to also be registered with the Department of Health. You know what I mean? If you have, as a veteran, you're getting VA benefits. It's not going to affect you. If you're in a legal state now, in a non-legal state, something totally different. It's non-legal at that point, but you can exhaust that, Bob is a cultivator. So when you get a medical license or a medical card certificate, rather, you can not only get it in bulk and get it at discount, but you also have the ability to grow. So for example, in the state of Colorado, Bob, if you have a medical cannabis card, you're allowed to grow up how many plants? Can you explain to those folks for a little bit as I share your Patreon link here? Yes, and before I go any further, even if you are just a resident of Colorado and are 21 and older, you are still legally able to grow cannabis in your house. It has to be not in your backyard, and it can't be outside. It has to be grown in your house, and it has to be under the ability in a place that can be locked, a door that can be locked. But having said that, medically, normally you are allotted a little bit more than you would be recreationally, but not much more, if I'm being honest. And no matter what, you can only flower 3 plants at a time out here in Colorado. So I can grow up to 24 plants myself as a medical patient. But regardless of how many I vegetate, I cannot put them into flowering mode any more than 3 at a time. So I just grow 3 plants at a time.
And see, that right there is what you call good counsel. So why would you not want good counsel, especially if you want to get educated on the cannabis industry or how to cultivate? If you're just learning, you don't want to do a whole bunch of research, because believe me, you'll probably end up buying a whole bunch of the wrong equipment before you get to the right equipment. Bob has been through all of that, so if you're in that space, I'm sharing his link here as we're talking about some folks that's tuning in from Northern Kentucky. We see you, Thomas Root. Appreciate you tuning in there. Then
you don't have to break the bank. You don't have to do it. We
also have Kristen Ging up here, or Kristen Craig, sorry, from Enid, Oklahoma. I think she's a regular viewer here. We've seen her on here before. So shout out, Kristen. I know Enid has been something we've talked about here recently, but yeah, veterans, you can go and check it out, obviously. And the benefit is you need good counsel. Bob is good counsel, not Google. Google's going to give you the latest ads of whoever's paying the most for you to click on to buy the wrong shit, to start your grow wrong. And then after about $2,000, you're going to figure out how to do it the right way. Don't waste your money. Get with my man Bob over there. Click on his link. At least go over there and check out his different levels. And I'll pull that up here as we get some more shout outs.
Yeah, I've got folks that have been with me since day one that are still hanging with me, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. If you plan on coming on, you just want to do something small. Small is not really small to me, man. Small's huge, man. I've got the cost of growing something can, especially continuously, can add up on you, man. You've got soil, you've got nutrients, you've got water, which I don't put tap water in cannabis. And if you watch some of my videos, you'll understand why I don't do that. But I have to, just get some purified water, which, it comes with a small expense, but it is an expense. But any bit of help helps me out, and I've had folks that have been with me since day one right now, which has been at the very least 2 years. So yeah, as you can see, seedling, mid-grow, and harvest time.
Go through your tiers right there. Explain to them what the tiers are. So if you're thinking about getting with Bob as a counsel, along your journey, you're looking for some great counsel. He's got some different tier levels there for some different types of counsel.
Yeah, basically, if you, depending on the level that you're at, you have basically just more exposure to me. That could be a good or bad thing. But regardless, at the very entry level, the seedling, you're basically just helping me with some basic things that like I just mentioned before: soil, nutrients, the light bill. And even though we've come very, very far in how much energy we use now to produce our light for our cannabis growth, we are just millennia ahead of what we used to have to pay for energy. It still costs. So those things are the very basic things. When you start getting to mid-grow, you start getting a little bit more attention, if you will, if you are actually paying attention to the things I'm teaching you, and you want to start getting more involved, or maybe even join me on a podcast. That's when you're able to do that with the mid-grow level. And then harvest time is basically sort of like the carte blanche situation, where if you are growing cannabis and you're having issues and you have questions, hit me up on instant messenger, give me a call, text me, call me, whatever the hell you need to do. I can talk to you and walk you through your nutrient issues, whatever problems you may be having with the growth or the non-growth of your cannabis plants. I'm there for you on that level as well. So, if you just want to help out, I've got that. And if you want to really be involved, I've got that ability too. So, and again, thanks to everybody who's been my patron since day one. I really appreciate it.
And speaking of patrons, shout out to Mara Cortez. She's a Green Badge supporter here. She's asking for some counsel. Let's just give them an example of what some typical counsel would be. Say if she was one of your patrons. Now, she's a supporter here to build different groups. So she essentially supports your content too there, Bob. So she says, what are some different, I'm not the expert here, Mara, so that's why I defer to my counsel, who I'm a patron of. I'm not just promoting Bob. I was his first patron, I believe in what he's doing. I told him, help push him to get to what he's doing, because you need experts in the space to educate people. You know what I mean? Because education, a lot of miseducation can get you in the wrong way. So let's get educated here. She says the different kinds of canna used for horrible pain she has in her feet and legs due to diabetes.
Well, First of all, I would say there's a couple things that you can do to take care of that. You can ingest cannabis in multiple different ways if you'd like to get rid of that pain. There are also a lot of very effective topical creams on the market right now with high THC levels that do a great job to get rid of some of the pain. I happen to use some in my wrists and elbows because I'm definitely going to be dealing with arthritis at one point in my life because I'm a gamer and a drummer. So I have issues with all that. But if you're talking about a specific cannabis, which is the question you're asking me right now, even though that's a broad question, specifically indica is what you'd be wanting to go for, or a hybrid that is indica leaning, meaning whatever 2 or 3 or 4 strains are crossed, they are predominantly indica. Indica is a more pain relief, sedative, medicinal strain of cannabis. And although sativa, hybrid, and indica are kind of being blurred right now, there's still ways to find that. If you happen to go to a dispensary that doesn't classify those under indica, sativa, or hybrid, they go for something like sleep, anxiety. You're going to want to aim for those strains that target those specifically, because all of those things are sort of lumped together in terms of dealing with pain and stuff like that. So for really intense pain, I would try and ask for a 100% indica if you have the ability to do so. Some people don't, and that's why I'm here to help them try and grow their own if they can't get out to get to a dispensary. But
now see,
go with
that's
it.
probably more than you would have got from a Google search. Because if for most folks that don't pay attention on Google, when you do a Google search, when you see the first 5 things on there, look for it says ad. I know most people may know that, but if you're just tuning in, like we say, inform and educate here. The first 5 are going to be people paying for you to click on that. Then you got to scroll down, and a lot of times you'll find a regular brand from there. You know what I mean? So that little bit of information right there, you know what I mean? Creams, different ways of ingestion, that's key pieces of information that a lot of folks are not going to know about, especially if they're just, researching, cannabis used for an alternative for pain.
Yeah, it's a broad question, really. But again, what you have to do is kind of go through sort of a trial and error thing. And honestly, if you're dealing with more pain at night, meaning before you go to bed, maybe you're starting to deal with a throbbing or a tingling or something like that, you might want to go the edible route, because the edible route will not only make you deal with pain, but it'll also cause you to sleep, especially if you've got indica leaning edibles, and that'll help you get through the night without waking up dealing with the pain. You can sleep through, and I don't mean a narcotic pass out. I mean strong enough for it to be relieving your pain and making you stay down and sleep for a significant amount of time. That's what I use it for, because I've dealt with insomnia my entire life. But always look for indicas when you're talking about pain.
And there you have it. Those are the 3 different levels. So make sure if you're, trying to get some counsel, definitely you want to check out Bob the Cannabis Cowboy. Like I said, I'm a firm believer. I just was sitting here thinking while you were talking about that, Bob, like how long ago it was we were trying to figure out how are we going to talk about cannabis in a Cowboys football group.
Yeah. Yep. It's kind of crazy, man. But the more you talk about it and the more people are comfortable with it, they start realizing, well, you know what? I've always liked weed anyway. Why haven't I been paying attention to this? And whether you were there from the beginning or now, doesn't really matter, man. Get on board, because if you have any interest in any of this stuff, we got a lot to give y'all. That's for sure.
Yep. Shout out to our supporter, Dr. M, right on time, plants over pills. You know what I mean? So like we said, there's folks dying from pills every day. There's lawsuits behind it. There's minimal research behind cannabis, and there's hardly zero, maybe 0.1%, I don't know, deaths that's been documented due to cannabis related use. You know what I mean? So it's more medicinal. I mean, like some would say it's from the earth.
The earth, 100. That is the truth, man. And it's been around for a long time. And it not only have we changed and evolved as humans, cannabis has done the same thing with itself. The kind of cannabis I grow right now flowers itself when it wants to. Most grows over a long period of my life had to be done photo period time, meaning the light schedule is what dictates when your cannabis flowers, but not anymore. Auto flowers do what they want.
I was reading in this magazine, which was all cannabis stuff. So called Cannabis Advertisers. It's got a big story on Ricky Williams, you know what I mean? His holistic journey with cannabis and things of that nature. But a lot of that advertisement in there was for LED lights because it could speed up that process of like what you're talking about, like the science that's coming behind it. Now, you said there was a guy there at Frost Cannabis today that broke some shit down like Matrix level style where you were like even blown away. care to share a little bit about what that conversation was?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think I forgot Taz maybe from Med Farm.
Chaz, that's his
Uh,
name. Yeah.
God, I'm so glad I remember that dude. I feel so bad. But yeah, we were speaking to him about a couple of different things. Now he was a vendor that was there with not only product on the shelf but also behind the scenes science of it all. And he was actually one of the companies, if not the company out here, where during the scare a few years ago, where the vaping scare kind of caused everybody to pull away from not only nicotine vapes, but really liquid concentrate vape pens in general. The whole entire industry sort of tanked out because people were afraid there was inhaling all these metals and byproducts from whatever shoddy chemicals or shoddy parts were used. Where this particular company actually brought to the Cannabis Association, the Medical Cannabis Association, and said, "Look, this is how we do it without adding any of these chemicals to cause any of these bad things to happen. This is how you can do it." And so they not only sidestepped the scare, they stopped it 100%. So there are people on the ground right now still evolving and changing the way cannabis is being used and implemented. And while most people like to think that all we're doing is trying to find more concentrated ways to get you more stoned, that's only true for someone who's using it to just get stoned. This person in particular was telling us ways that he was helping the medical community, including people with cancer and leukemia, just a lot of issues that have pain attached to them, how they can get intelligent, concentrated, clean versions of cannabis at their disposal, which they might not have had 5-6 years ago. So we bumped into a lot of great people that were highly intelligent, that know exactly what the hell they're doing, and they're not in there just for the money. They're passing great information and intelligence along.
That's a great segue. You say highly intelligent, as you'll look right above me here. You see this little arrow that's right above me here? Ding, 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 ding. See with the little light going. So if you take a look at this little picture right below me here, it says Frost, right? That's where we were at today. So follow with me here. There's a method to my madness. You know what I mean? Here we are making history. There's Eric B. You know what I mean? The cannabis cowboy himself. And, me there underneath Frost Exotic Cannabis. We were making history there today. But more importantly, like I was telling you about that arrow that's above me, if you're a 420 brand, or if you're, a cannabis dispensary or something like Frost is right down below me, you could place your logo right there for a small minimal fee each month for advertisement. You know what I mean? That's for small business too. So a lot of y'all probably have been wondering, why has that arrow been there for such a long time? If you look in the other corner, you see my brand up there at OAT, the brand that Bob and I have been building here together since 2016. You know what I mean? He is the ganja god of the OAT, if you know what I mean. And then, of course, we got our buddy Facebook. We always want to shout out Zucks. We don't never want to play bad with those folks. They don't like to give us no algorithm when it's this type of content anyway. But for advertising purposes, that space is there. You know what I mean? So contact me directly if you'd like to put it up there. That goes for any kind of business, not just cannabis. But as we focus on cannabis on 420 today, and we were at Frost Exotic, that was our purpose there as a macro influencer. Or did I get that right? Micro influencer. Let me get that right. Micro influencer, right? We're micro influencers. There's a certain limit, per audience and stuff. We want to make sure that, you know what I mean, we help these these places get to their audiences and things like that.
Yep, 100%, man. And it's sort of Frost is a sort of a new rebranding concept going on out there, and I feel lucky to be able to sort of help them get their name out to our friends and family out there who watch us, so that they can pass it on to anybody else who might be in Denver looking for a specific kind of cannabis. We can vouch for the great amount of selection they have out there, that's for sure. And they're out there kind of starting over, and they've rebranded everything. They got the great sort of mixture of Miami Vice colors and a little bit of the Meow Wolf multicolor artisticness going on in there. It's a beautiful store, lots of great popping colors. So it's it kind of makes you see exactly how tough it is. And we're kind of going through a dip in sales, not Frost, just the cannabis industry in general out here is sort of dumping a little bit for some reason. And I imagine because people are probably having to spend millions of dollars to get into a freaking home, so they probably don't have any money left to get any weed.
But yeah, the moral of the story is the little guys can help, and we're the little guys, and this is an example of that. And as we clearly got our boat in the water here, especially thanks to the 120 some odd Green Bad supporters, especially those Green Bad supporters tuning in here today on Build Different Group. We understand we're live on YouTube, over on my Prime State page as well. So shout out to everybody watching on YouTube. But to the Green Bad supporters here, we're boots on ground, literally wheels on ground, wings in the air, however you want to call it. And I told you April was going to be busy. This is a monumental day. Bob and I are getting to meet. If you know, like we said, our relationship spans back to 2016 when we just were strictly about Cowboys. And then we found this connection between us with cannabis. And then it became, how are we going to talk about it with other Cowboy fans? And then voila, here we are here today in 2022, baby.
Yeah, man. It's been a great last couple of days, man. I just, thank you on air for making the time to come out, man, and hang out, man. It was really cool, man. It was, I'm glad you were able to experience it. I definitely 100%, whether you believe it or not, man. And I know it sounds corny as hell, man, but I get a very, very specific level of happiness and satisfaction when I bring someone to Red Rocks for the first time. And I think y'all might be, the first people ever, and I've been here a while, that I got in from out of town to go to a show with me. I'm usually going with my brother or Jay, rest in peace, or some friends that are in the area.
Hey man, by the way, you need to make a new tier on your Patreon for Red Rock Navigator. And then, if you come to Denver, if you go to concerts, you need to, that's a whole nother tier of counsel right there, how to navigate Red Rocks and get into there. Because I'm going to tell you, I just said, shut up and let him do it. And I'm a control guy too. I need to know all the logistics and all of that type of stuff. But Bob had it. I trusted him. It was a great experience. There's a job there for you, dog. I'm telling you.
I appreciate it, man. Here, the deal is this, man. In order to, with my system, you have to sacrifice. And with my system, you are sacrificing at the very least one song. That's probably the last song. Last night, we missed one song because I chose to take us out of there early to get rid of all the crazy crap, having to drive down a mountain with 5,000 other people or 9,000 other people.
Which, by the way, we got out of there in less than, 15 minutes from the time we left our seat till we walked down, got in, and we skirted out ahead of the crowd.
We beat the cops with the cones.
Yeah, they were setting up the cones before we got out. I'm telling you, if you go to Red Rocks, you come to Colorado, you got to consult with my man Bob. He knows the way.
Yeah, we missed. Today was a good day, but that's okay, man. We retreated to about 14 songs before that. Cypress Hill had about a 16 or 17 song set as well. You sacrifice a song, but that's the way it goes, man. I particularly have been to so many concerts here. I don't like leaving in a a slow moo walk with everybody in the world, especially nowadays. So I just chose to get us out of there a little quick, but maybe there is a way.
I wasn't upset, you know what I mean? Shout out to Ice Cube, you know what I mean? He put on a great show, still 30 years in the game, put on a great show. I wasn't mad we missed the song. I mean, he had Dub C out there from West Side Connection. So I was mad because he didn't have, Mac 10 out there. So I don't know what's going on with Mac 10, but that would have been kind of cool to see them three together, really turning up. It was only 2/3 of that show, but who knows? You know what I mean? It is what it is. So we got to skirt out of there early, but I'm telling you, like you said, one song is better than waiting. You're going to be jammed up on that hill coming down, man. I could only imagine we were curving around that just by ourselves. What it's like to wait in traffic going down that thing to get out of there.
You are guaranteed to have to be pushed up against somebody because that's just the way it goes with gravity. That's the way it is, man. And I don't love that, man. But hey, they call it cheating, whatever the case is. Like I said, man, I'm also a set list snob. And even though I did not know either of those set lists, if you go to setlist.fm and look for the set lists from Ice Cube and Cypress Hill last night, I'm the one that put those up there because I paid attention and just started adding them. And, so I realized that there was probably 32 songs between both of those bands played last night. So that's big, man.
If you're tuning in late here's that shot. This is us. That's the parking lot behind us. We weren't still three people that's right there in the back on the dirt there. Our car was probably, 2 or 3 cars over from there. And you can see that line snaked all the way down there. That was us waiting to walk in. But I'm telling you, we got out of there and beat that traffic. So imagine it's only one way out of this whole parking lot right here.
Yeah, and I don't know that you know this or not, but that's just one of 4 parking lots.
Yeah.
So that after that
Yeah.
fills up, the gate closes and they
Yeah, no,
funnel
that's
into
just, yeah,
somebody
that's
else.
just that, that's that one section that you needed us to get into.
Yeah,
That we
man.
were trying to figure out. Remember, we drove around the wrong side of the mountain and had to whip around because
Yeah.
we were doing the boots on ground leg work. You feel what I mean? We're making it easier for everybody that's out there coming in. So consult with my man Bob over there, especially at Red Rocks Amphitheatre. He's legit with the concert. You know what to pack, how to pack. Make sure you bring a blanket, all the good stuff, man. You're not gonna go where you'll have a great experience. It was absolutely great for me, bro. I couldn't have asked for that. It was just, it got better and better and better, even when we had to move down from seat 3 to 2.
You know, it's crazy, man. They had, for anybody who didn't know, they have the front, they have to have some section of that first row roped off. So what you have to do in order to get to the second row is go up to the third row and then walk back down to the second row. But we walked up to the third row and just never walked down to the second row. And even at the third row, we were like, holy shit, we could basically, you know, high five any of the people who were in any of the acts. And then like BG said, some guy was like, yo, this is the second row. And we were like, oh, darn, we get to move closer.
Because see that photo that's up right there. You see that rope going in between us where Bob's holding his joint there. You know what I mean? It was pre-night, you know, it was 419. You know, it was 420 Eve on the rocks. We was getting down. Everybody was, it got smokier as the night went. But you see that little yellow rope? That's right in front of that is front row, right?
Yep. That is the front row.
We had perfect seats, man, like stage level. Like, I mean, you know, they had VIP stuff too there, Bob. Tell them a little bit about the options. Maybe so folks that like to go to concerts, maybe they just needed to see this, you know, to hear your counsel, to figure out if they wanted to come out here. There was some opportunities for meet and greets, I think, before, and some VIP packages and stuff, right, too? Yeah,
you know, there's no record industry anymore. So these folks like Cypress Hill, Ice Cube, E42 Short, these guys that have been around for 30 years that have been doing it, were able to make money on record sales back in the days, and they can't do that anymore. So they've got to find other ways to make money. And that's the reason why you're seeing so many of these OGs, whether it be rock and roll, heavy metal, you know, techno, whatever the case may be. People are going to see these folks. And a lot of times they need to make, you know, try and make more ends meet. And by doing that, they put out these meet and greet packages where you not only get to meet and greet with the artist before the concert, you get some signed paraphernalia, probably some
they even had some things, stuff on the stage side of the stage. There was a group of folks, they were taking photos and they were getting on the stage looks over there with their cameras.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't beat my shit. Like I said, go over there and follow Instagram, look at my stories. You can tell I had the whole, I mean, you can see the diamond sparkling on E40 shit. Y'all need to go over there and check it out.
Yeah, that was pretty cool, man. I tell you what, man, it was just good to see everybody just having fun, man. and Too Short just yelling out what he was yelling out, man. And they were still the ladies were still having fun no matter what he was calling them. It was just like it was.
The more vulgar he got, the more they laugh. You know, and he's like, "I'll put my dick in your mouth," and they're just and you know, shout out to the diversity that was in the crowd. You know, I was asking Bob before we went, kind of like, what kind of crowd was it going to be? I was just curious. And, you know, he's basically like older white dudes like us pretty much. But it was a really diverse crowd out there, you know what I mean, across, you know what I mean, the whole color spectrum. And it was just a great time. It was packed from general admission. People were standing on the side. People were like hanging off the rails. Like, it was a vibe out there. You know what I mean? They put on a great show. The timing, like there was no bullshit side shows and nothing like that. It was a great event. So if you're ever planning on going to Red Rocks, like I said, I don't even go to concerts. I would say do it. Like it's worth your money.
Yeah, you can't find anybody. You can't find groups or any chat rooms online that are going to tell you anything about that place being bad, other than possibly that walk. Where if you go to my Bob the Cannabis Cowboy page on Facebook, you can see the live stream I did of us walking up there. It's no joke. There's a way to counteract that. You could park in a different area and take a cab up to the top. So I just chose to go a different way because I wanted to see what kind of merchandise we had. But yeah, there's a few ways to do this. And speaking on what you said earlier, man, you know, the diversity of the crowd is sort of a direct reflection of the music itself, man. Back in the days when we were coming up listening to that music, that wasn't click music. At least for myself growing up in Miami, and EB can tell you this, that kind of diversity was at every concert in Miami, Florida. And it's because that music in particular is not marketed or directed at any one particular race or group of people. While it is more African American influence because it is rap, and that is how rap was created, we've got all different kinds of people that are a big fan of that genre, including myself, who grew up listening to heavy metal and hard rock and punk rock, but still have massive love for classic hip hop and rap and anything that took the skill for you to create art, man. And that group of people we were hanging out with yesterday was a direct reflection of that art that's been created for the last 30 years.
I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna date myself. Like I said, like I remember listening to Too Short in high school, and it was just like see that dude now. I'm 48. Like this dude's still getting money off R&B. I mean hip hop. You know what I mean, and rap and shit. And it's just like, and it's a form of art. You know what I mean. And here we are. 420 is a form of art. There's a form of science to this shit. As you heard Bob interviewing folks, the vendors at Frost, you know what I mean? That's kind of what we're doing here too as well, trying to break some ground. It's the off season for football. We understand a lot of folks are looking for some football content here, but man, every Wednesdays, y'all know how this crowd gets down with Square Groupers. We're going to have a 360-degree streaming view of cannabis. You know what I mean? We're glad that folks like Tanya, who supports the content here, she's a green badge. She tuned in just to get some education, and that's what it's mainly about. We want to bleed across the lines so people can get educated, especially through our experiences. And that's why one of the big reasons I pushed Bob to do that, because I mean, I can only talk about what I talk about, but a big part of my journey has been with Bob. I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for Bob. You know what I mean? So,
oh man, that's big. That's big, man. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, we're doing something great, man, and I'm just happy we're still able to do it, man. All these years later, and the fact that you're sitting in my basement living room right now is just insane, man. So
it is what it is, man. Happy 420 to everybody. Y'all put something in the air, man. We've been live here over an hour. It's been the Mile High Connection, and that's the other thing. I asked that question at the beginning of the show. How many feet are in a mile?
Anybody got that?
I think it's like 5,000 feet or something like that, 5,200 feet or something like that. But anyway, we're already at however many feet here in Colorado, Bob, on ground level.
5,280.
That's a mile, right? That's for the feet in a mile. But I mean, for Denver, naturally, we're sitting at how high at elevation already?
That's exactly what it is. And that's the reason why you will see that number all over Denver. Mile High City is 5,280 feet. But at Red Rocks, I believe we added another 600. So we were 6,000 feet above sea level at Red Rocks.
So this is what I got to say. I was there with my mentor. You know what I mean? We are the highest of the high. You can tell me you done got high before, but if you ain't got as high as me and my brother over there in that stadium, you ain't living right, baby. Especially on 420, and we here 420. We breaking all kind of records and getting educated, man. What kind of experience is this, man?
Yeah, man, it was great. It was great. I'm just happy it all came together, man. It's something to be said about not going too hard about planning shit, just kind of letting it fall into place. This week, as a matter of fact, yesterday and today have been the first times that we've reached 75, 77 degrees in a long time here. It's because we go through seasons here. So it's been 4 months of weather. There's been snow on the ground pretty much for the whole time I've been in our new home. And it's the first time we were able to actually see the grass and just see. It's just been beautiful, man. And what a great time of year right now, man, to be able to chill out and relax with my brothers, man.
That's what they would say, when the stars align.
Yeah.
Pun intended. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Y'all
sir.
been my man Bob, the Cannabis Cowboy. We've been on Square Groupers, man. It's the Mile High Connection. We hope you learned something. More importantly, we thank you for hanging out with us. And most of all, we appreciate everybody, especially the Green Badge supporters. Without your support every month, you know what I mean? It doesn't happen. It doesn't get to pay for, you know what I mean, things it takes to get out here to go to and from. You know what I mean? I'm from Washington State. We're in Denver. It's the Green Rush. Like the stars have just aligned all over the place. Like you say, shit just falls into place when it's too much like right.
Oh yeah, man. We did it right, man.
We're going to continue to get it right, man. So y'all make sure and hit them notifications, baby. And we're going to see y'all next week on the episode. No, actually, we're going to be live on 421 Day. So if you know all about 421 Day, you know what I mean, tomorrow, you know what I mean, tune in with us tomorrow. That's the day after, Dak and Zeke, you know how we did that. So, like when the stars align. Y'all been here with Square Groupers with me and Bob, baby. We appreciate y'all rolling with us. We'll see y'all on the next episode.